Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 30th day of June, 2021 here in the Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road and remember that the life you save may be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days since we were last on Monday, a belated happy birthday to you as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. If you are not feeling well today, or for some reason are at home or in a medical facility, we want to wish you all the best and a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson is with us again this morning, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. My pleasure to have in the studio with me again this morning, none other than your favorite person, Dr. Steve McPhail. And going to give him this little commercial plug as well. Bear in mind, if you need to see him on a professional level, his offices have changed locations. He's now at Elizabethan Square. And when he gets the mic, I will ask him to give you some additional details, more details in relation to his location. Before we do that, though, we want to pass on to you the COVID-19 update that was issued yesterday, the 29th of June, 2021, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reported that 427 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Monday, the 28th of June 2021. There were no positive results. To date, 93,307 COVID-19 vaccinations have been given in total in the Cayman Islands. Of that 93,307, 48,333, which represents 68% of an estimated 71,100 population, had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and approximately 63% have completed the 2-dose course. Also reported that the patient that was admitted with COVID-19 to the Cayman Islands Hospital has improved considerably and no longer requires the support of a ventilator as well. So all good news on the COVID-19 front. We just want to remember that we should not let our guard down. We should still continue to follow all of the protocols that have been put in place. We still see some persons wearing masks when they're out in public, especially when they're around crowds and in close proximity to others, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. So we want to continue that. We want to also encourage persons to continue to get vaccinated as well. We have to continue to push that. We know that when we get closer to expiry dates and all those things, that's when further effort is made. But we still need to continue to emphasize the need to be vaccinated on a daily basis. Also, this is another public statement that was made from the Health Service. I think it's the Health Services Authority. I'll tell you in a second. But it says, with a further shipment of COVID-19 vaccines having arrived, on the 16th of June, the Cayman Islands government is urging all residents to get one step closer to borders reopening with a new communications campaign. This One Step Closer vaccine campaign was launched last week. The campaign images offer the audience a snapshot of the future, promoting how working together to get vaccinated, the local community can get back to doing things we all miss. The creative executions are aimed at different interests of the community and collective hopes for the future. These are through travel, adventures, reuniting with families abroad, and having the peace of mind of protection from COVID-19 for those working in the front line and the entire community. It goes on to say that while prior COVID-19 related campaigns have focused on emergency messaging, urging people to stay home and stay safe, this campaign aims to provide an emotive response by looking to the future. The One Step Closer campaign moves away from the illustrations used in the earlier campaigns and uses photography. Most of the shots were taken by the in the Cayman Islands by local photographer Rebecca Davidson, and all of the models used in the shoot are representing themselves going about their everyday activities, portraying their dreams for the future and how the vaccine will help them get back to normal. The campaign will be launched across a number of media channels through social media, retail, roadside, and across private channels. The creative team extends special thanks, to all who were involved as well. And I will end it there so that I can say good morning to my guest, Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Good to see you again.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your listeners in For the Record land and all your listeners in the Cayman diaspora and all the listeners around the world. Thank you for asking me to come back on your show again. And, our show is hitting the heart of the Cayman society. Mm-hmm. I think that what your show is doing is creating one giant step tomorrow that begins with one small step today. And that is very, very important. I think that we are the generation to end a long chapter of unproductive rivalry and open a new one where opinion, reasoning, discussion, and indeed respect for tradition are always present. And that's the reason why I'm anxious to come on your show. I believe that our educational and intellectual progress creates a movement across this land that will dignify the personal bearings of all our people. And that is the reason why I have a great respect for you, and for you and your show. And I'm just basing those sayings, that my thinking on what people, the feedback I have gotten when I go to different places, and people always say, keep it up. Some people say they if they can't hear the show in the morning, they can't rest for the day. They're very unhappy if the show goes off. They can't hear the show, and I think that you're doing a great job, and I'm always ready to assist you in your pursuit and your reasoning and discussion, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you.
And far as just a little plug, as far as the office is concerned, we moved from Cayman Business Park. We're right downtown now. I don't have to drive to your show. I can just walk across the fence,
parking lot,
parking lot, and come into your show, which is very good. And we are now located in Suite A10 on the ground floor of Elite Beach and Square. We're right in the square where the water fountain is.
Okay.
That's where we are. We haven't gotten our telephone hookup yet. I think our telephone might change because we might be changing telephone providers.
Okay.
But that's where we are. We're still functioning. We're still working, and I'll work until I go. And there's one other thing I would like to say. Mm-hmm. I believe, Orid, that you and I and there are a few among us who would rather die on our feet than die on our knees, mm-hmm. begging for mercy and forgiveness, and for people who do not like us, and begging to be accepted. We have accepted ourselves, and that is the reasons why I think that you are such a great person, and that that you have the show continuing. I don't know how long you will have it. I guess as long as you want it, but I guess all these years now, if you had been doing something that was wrong or saying something that was wrong, they would have said, "All right, we don't want you to come back anymore." But I know that you're enlightening our people, and to me, when people say that to me, I said, "Well, do you know that his mother was a school teacher, and I was a pupil at her school too when I was younger, and so there is no doubt that you and no coincidence that you were on the show, giving out information and enlightening our people, and I'm so glad to be part of the show with you."
Okay. We want to give our audience a sort of preview of some of the things that we're going to look at today. I want to take a look at, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with what is happening in the British Virgin Islands. And there, the governor, I think may have been the previous governor before he left, had commissioned a commission of inquiry to look at irregularities in the British Virgin Islands. Those hearings are taking place now, and there's some revealing things that are coming out. A few days ago, the Auditor General was interviewed. He had members of their their assembly there were interviewed as well. A lot had to do with their failure to complete the register of interest over several years, and that included current politicians as well as previous ones. The recent revelations have to do with inflated payments under the COVID-19 grant scheme that they had for farmers and fisher persons, and these inflated payments. I want to take a look at some of that, because I suspect that after this commission has concluded and made its findings, whether or not any recommendations are made as well, there's going to be a strong possibility that the British Virgin Islands will come under this, the Constitution may be suspended, and they may come under administration again as well. So that's something that we want to look at. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Many romance stories have been told of the Northside courting voyages, which were made along the aquatic trails by suitors traveling to see their island sweethearts. From landing place at Great Tree Point, down past Rum Point, they would make their way to West Bay, then Georgetown Bacadere, Duck Pond, and other points along the North Sound.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Rotary Central and you, our valued community, have undertaken remarkable accomplishments since October 1986. Over 34 years of activity and projects, making lives better and moving our beloved Cayman forward. Rotary Central has yet again committed to the advancement of these islands, this time in the area of mental health. We are proud to announce our partnership with Loud Silent Voices and donation of $50,000 to provide a community home for those recovering from various mental illnesses. Rotary Central and Loud Silent Voices, a signature project. Taking care of the vulnerable, helping families manage, more than a shoulder, more than a helping hand. Literally calming the storm. Rotary Central. Care in every effort, sweat in every project. Every dollar planted back in the community with your help. Rotary opens opportunities.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy to understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacist will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Ms. Susan, no phone calls because, okay, we'll take the phone calls after the 8 o'clock news then. And we can sort of like lay the foundation for this discussion in relation to the British Virgin Islands. So the outgoing governor of the British Virgin Islands,
yes,
he made some strong accusations against the government of the British Virgin Islands in a Facebook video. He posted, he accused the country's government of overseeing a plague of corruption, interfering in the criminal justice system, and attempting to silence anyone who raised concerns about misuse of funds, including $30 million pounds to help the islands fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The former governor claimed, or the outgoing governor claimed, that the British Virgin Islands government had deliberately delayed legal reforms and hindered local inquiries into a string of corruption allegations, including $5 million spent on a non-existent airline and nearly $1 million on building a short wall around the school. Tens of millions more spent on a hospital and a cruise ship dock are in question. Citing concerns about organized crime, he mentioned $250 million worth of cocaine seized from the home of a police officer last year. So the new governor for the British Virgin Islands is actually a former governor who's coming from Bermuda.
Yes.
He's a former governor there. Now, you have an article up there in relation to,
yes.
And then there's another one that has to do with the Auditor General giving testimony to this commission of inquiry,
yes,
and talking about how she was prevented from getting information as well. But let's talk.
Yes.
We have about 5 minutes left to talk about some of the allegations that were made.
The headlines of this article is damaging revelations. Premier's office inflated payments under COVID-19 grant. some farms not found, Auditor General said. And it says here, the Premier's office, which administered the COVID-19 stimulus grant initiative for farmers and fisher folks, has been accused of significantly inflating the payments so that they exceeded the amounts individuals actually applied for. The shocking revelations were made today, June the 28th, by Auditor General Sonia Webster during her testimony before the United Kingdom Back Commission of Inquiry, which is probing the allegations of government corruption. The commission was at the time reviewing the Auditor General's report dated June 21st, 2021 on the stimulus grant to farmers and fisher folks. That report is said to be ongoing by the governor. Specifically addressing findings on the farmers grant, the report revealed that farmers were paid in some cases 3 times the amount they requested from the government. Sections of the report, which were read by counsel Buell Rawat, stated that the amounts requested by farmers were inflated by the ministry prior to payment. This resulted in payments that were substantially greater than the amounts requested. Rawat asked Webster, when you were referring to the ministry, which particular ministry are you referring to? And he said the answer was, this could be the Premier's office, Webster stated. Rawat highlighted that part of the report, which identified a sample of requests made by 70 farmers, which totaled $351,718. However, according to Rawat, the amount actually paid to those 70 individuals were just over $1 million. According to Rawat, and confirmed by Webster, that's the Auditor General, irrespective of the requests, irrespective of need, there was a standard payment being made of either $13,500 or $22,500. What you conclude is that the amounts requested by farmers were modified by the ministry and increased dramatically, resulting in significantly larger payments. Is that right? And she said, that is correct, the Auditor General replied. Not referring to the names of the individuals in the report, Rawat stated that one applicant requested for a roll of barbed wire in the amount of $50.99 and received $7,828, which the Auditor General confirmed. The same person who also asked for the purpose of a fence $371, but received $5,671. So the difference between what was requested to just short of $423, what was received was $13,500. That difference is $13,077. And she said, is that right? And she said, Rawat asked Webster. And then he went on to say, that is correct. And say, for your conclusion was that
203? Yeah. Were you okay? I'll continue
Yes.
reading for you while I got that. Your conclusion was that 203 payments were made to farmers, of which 182 were of $13,500 and one was $15,000, and 20 were of $22,500. That is stated, and that the Auditor General confirmed that. According to the Auditor General, these were two additional payments that were may need to be on the list. Each was for $11,000, and her office was looking into determining if those people were fishermen or farmers. It was revealed that as of May the 20th, 2021, there were 203 payments issued to farmers stimulus grants. Of that amount, 49% were paid out to persons who were not registered with the Department of Agriculture. No information was provided on how these individuals qualified for grant awards. Rawat then asked, where did she try to seek her information? That is the Auditor General. And the Auditor General replied, the Premier's office. The information we got from the Agriculture Department indicated that those people were not registered, so The next step is to find out if they were not registered, how did they qualify as farmers? And we asked the Premier's office to send the information regarding all of the farmers and fishermen and got no response. In the end, the most we can say about those individuals is that there was not information to show that they were indeed farmers, that the Auditor General stated. Folks, we're talking, this is not the Cayman Islands we're talking about. We're talking about the British Virgin Islands. We have to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will continue to share this information with you and try to analyze the situation and look at the similarities in relation to Turks and Caicos as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
When you're on the go, let the Island Supermarket shop for you.
To start, head to fosters.ky/go.
Then shop all of your favorite products online, from produce and seafood to grocery and frozen, all picked by our team of shoppers ready to go.
Choose next day curbside pickup from Foster's Camana Bay or delivery island-wide.
To get your order started, visit fosters.ky/go.
This is Groceries on the Go.
And we are Foster's Go. Shop online anytime.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended 30th of April, 2021, the various life cycle funds have provided returns between 10.5% and 43.2%. And our all-in expense ratio for year ended 30th of June, 2020 is currently the lowest it's ever been. 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Economic substance requirements in the Cayman Islands have now been extended to partnerships. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
Following cabinet approval, the Cayman Islands government published 2 sets of regulations: International Tax Cooperation Economic Substance Amendment of Schedule Regulations 2021 and the International Tax Cooperation Economic Substance Prescribed Dates Amendment Regulations 2021. Both of these will come into force on June 30th, 2021. The regulations bring general partnerships, limited partnerships, exempted limited partnerships, and foreign limited partnerships into scope for economic substance requirements. As a result, all partnerships will be required to notify with the Tax Information Authority. If the partnership engages in activity that is relevant for economic substance, it will also be required to file an economic substance return. Because investment funds, domestic companies, and local partnerships do not conduct relevant economic substance activities, they must notify with TIA, but they are not required to file an economic substance return. Financial Services and Commerce Minister, the Honorable Andre Ebanks, said the regulations address the European Union's Tax Good Governance Initiative, which has assessed tax regimes in countries like Cayman, Bermuda, Guernsey, the Isle of Man, and Jersey. Following the assessment, the EU has requested these countries extend economic substance requirements to partnerships. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
And the Cayman Islands government is pulling out all the stops in its One Step Closer campaign, aimed at urging residents to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
You all right? Yeah, man. Fishbone. Brother, you saved my life. No problem. He thought you had COVID. No, man. From me take the vaccine, we don't have no problem with COVID.
Along with photography and graphic advertising, a video skit featuring several of the popular rundown actors is making the rounds. Government has said in order to reopen the borders safely, between 70 and 80% of the population need to be fully vaccinated for COVID-19. As of Tuesday, 63% of the estimated population had both of the 2 doses of the vaccine. In regional news, the police in the Turks and Caicos Islands are seeking to identify the 20 bodies that were found on a boat floating off the coast of the country last weekend. Police Commissioner Trevor Botting said that plans are also underway to contact the families of the deceased, describing the gruesome discovery as a, quote, human tragedy and a very distressing scene. Police have said that the 20 unexplained human remains were found in Turks and Caicos waters last Thursday by a group of fishermen who initially spotted the vessel and alerted marine police. The boat was later towed to shore where authorities discovered the bodies. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The UN Children's Agency says it needs urgent access to tens of thousands of vulnerable people in Tigray in northern Ethiopia. UNICEF said more than 30,000 children were at risk of imminent death. It called for the opening of roads and airports to deliver aid. President Putin has called on Russians to get vaccinated against COVID, but he ruled out compulsory jabs. Russia is experiencing a surge of cases, with the Delta variant spreading fast. The number of deaths registered today was again a record high. The US Embassy in Warsaw has released a video condemning hate speech against LGBT people in Poland. The video shows members of the LGBT community reading out hateful comments under the embassy's social media posts about equality. An international police operation has seized the servers of a virtual private network used to hide the identities and locations of cybercriminals. The authorities replaced the web domains with a message informing those who'd used them that law enforcement agencies had seized personal information stored on the network servers. A human rights group says that Houthi rebels in Yemen have started the trial of a model arrested earlier this year in Sana'a. Human Rights Watch says that Entisar al-Hamadi has appeared for 2 hearings in a trial believed to be focused on charges of committing an indecent act and drug possession. The Lebanese parliament has approved cash payments for poor families to help them survive the country's worst economic crisis in decades. The payments will be made through a ration card distributed to around 500,000 families. And that's the BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Cayman AIDS Foundation would like you to join them in bringing their HIV numbers here in the Cayman Islands to ground zero. Knowing your HIV status could save your life. Call the HSA today and book an appointment to be tested. Visit their website on www.caf.ky or call them on 946-3029 for more information. This message was brought to you by the Cayman AIDS Foundation.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
Celebrate Cayman is taking the Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry to local communities every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Come out for a fun, family-friendly evening to learn about the Seafarers Registry, access complimentary health and wellness checks, share seafaring stories in the memory booth, enjoy seafaring-themed activities, socialize with seafarers, and more. The Celebrate Cayman Seafarers Registry Roadshow happening every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Visit celebratecayman.ky for schedule and info.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, Celebrate Cayman, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and the Department of Children and Family Services will be visiting the East End Civic Center on Thursday, the 1st of July.
Attention all tourism stipend recipients. Have you completed the mandatory stipend survey? This survey is required for all recipients and must be completed by this Friday, 2nd July 2021. Visit stipend.ourcayman.ky today to complete the short survey. Remember, it is mandatory, so visit stipend.ourcayman.ky today. Any questions? Email the tourism stipend team at stipend@caymanislands.ky.
The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure, 29.67 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 7 knots. Overnight low temperature was 76 degrees. Synopsis indicate cloudiness and showers associated with a tropical wave just west of the Cayman area will continue to influence our weather today, with a general decrease thereafter as the wave moves west at 5 knots. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving northwest. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. The forecast for tonight calling for pretty much the same partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers and thunder, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Low tide will occur this morning at 9:13, high tide this afternoon at 3:31, and a low tide again tonight at 9:26. The sun will set this evening at 6 minutes past 7 o'clock and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:52. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, break it down. Once the long-term goals are set, work backwards to set smaller and more manageable goals. These should be specific, measurable, and achievable. For example, study in the library for 1 hour 3 times per week instead of study more. Consider what you need to do daily, weekly, or by the end of the year in order to succeed. Smaller goals allow you to focus on the essential steps today to ensure you are prepared when tomorrow's opportunities become available.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Busy traffic on the Linford-Pearson Highway. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. Coming off of the Linford-Pearson Highway and Agnes Way, traffic also busy, and steady traffic off of Bobby Thompson Way, and continuing on steady traffic on Huldah Avenue. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately, and moderate flow of traffic as well. On Shedden Road, light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. On the Westfield Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving on moderately in both directions. On Cool Road, some sections steady, other sections moderate. And coming off of Esterly Tibbetts Highway, heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout, steady but flowing traffic. That's our latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and click it or ticket.
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Student registration for the 2021-2022 academic school year is open to the public from 8th of April to 30th of June 2021. Students must now be registered online at schools.edu.ky. Parents will have the ability to enter their students' information and securely upload all relevant documents. If you need assistance, please contact the Department of Education Services at 945-1199 or email edu.registration@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve McFeel. Before we went to our 8 o'clock news, we were sharing with you excerpts from the minutes of our report by BVI, that is British Virgin Islands Platinum News Service, about a commission of inquiry that is taking place in relation to the disbursement of funds for COVID-19 relief. In addition to that, the Commission of Inquiry is looking into other things like the failure of members of their legislative council to submit their interests to the register of interest after they were elected, and some went years before doing that, current as well as former members of their legislative assembly. Also looking into lost money, some $7 million that were lost trying to establish an airlines, BVI Airlines, money given to private investors that they were never able to recoup. And I think there's civil action taking place in terms of trying to recoup those now as well. And we want to take that and look at what happened in the Turks and Caicos, and is still happening because now the new proceedings, legal proceedings, will resume soon in relation to ministers and former members of the legislature in the Turks and Caicos Islands in relation to corruption as well, alleged corruption, and look at the similarities. And some of you may ask, why are we examining this? You know, why do we need to be concerned about the British Virgin Islands or the Turks and Caicos? Well, what do we all have in common? We are all British overseas territories. We have a constitution that gives the United Kingdom government enormous powers, and the one big one, the nuclear option that they can exercise at any point in time. Why is it important for us? Because it is important for us to understand how necessary it is to have a functioning government and to have a system that provides the checks and balances that keep elected members of government, not because we have controls in place for the civil service that keep elected members of government, holds them to account, and we have the guardrails to stop them from getting out of hand. If we do that, if those things are done and we hold people accountable, then the necessity of having a commission of inquiry when it comes to financial irregularities in the Cayman Islands, that is reduced considerably. We saw recently where there were complaints about the agricultural grants that were given here in the Cayman Islands in terms of vouchers for people to buy things from the agriculture department if they were involved in farming. We heard complaints about that system being abused, and the new government coming into place and basically immediately suspending portions of that. Those persons who were involved in it and had certain benefits, some benefits would continue, but they basically shut the program off otherwise until they can put the proper procedures in place. So that is why we want to look at what's happening in our sister jurisdictions to ensure that we don't allow it to happen here, and to demonstrate how it is not allowed to happen in the Cayman Islands if we have the right checks and balances in place. Doc, over to you.
Well, in the British Virgin Islands, you remember we were reading the article. Now, according to the information shared with the commission, site visits were conducted at 22 properties, 11 of which could not be located by the Agriculture and Fisheries Department. And the Auditor General was not able to confirm whether, in fact, those properties ever existed as farms. Of the remaining 11 farms that were located, 7 were on government properties leased out to farmers, and while 4 others on private land. And according to the information provided, 2 of the farms visited on private land showed farming activities that did not meet the scale of operations criteria for commercial farming. It was revealed that the policy for the grant of farmers was approved by Cabinet, with certain controls were to make sure that grants funds were applied within the program and value for money was pursued. As part of the controls, there were also expected to be monitoring by the Public Works Department and a quantity surveyor approved by the Premier's office, direct payments to contractors, and monitoring of produce by the Agriculture and Fisheries Department to record growth and progress. So that finally, according the AG confirmed that the end results was a program implemented without controls, resulting in significant threats to the government's receiving value on the money distributed into the industry, and that the payments made to farmers under the scheme don't appear to be driven by need, but rather it is evolved into a system where persons were getting sums of money irrespective of what they were claiming for. So that seems to be what the program was.
Okay.
In other words, people who had a little grow box in their backyard and growing a few tomatoes given to their friends were listed as farmers as well, and they were getting the big sums of money.
Right, and they were getting and they were getting more than
they had
they requested. You know,
they were getting
hundreds of times more
than
they was requested. Now, what we don't know how far this inquiry is going to go to determine what else may have occurred. Now, if we look back at the situation in the Turks and Caicos, and what was alleged there was the grant of crown lands to individuals, but also the sale of crown lands to investors, and people found, some individuals, whether or not it was prearranged or otherwise, but found these huge sums of money deposited into their accounts. Later on, it would be revealed that that money then was withdrawn and given to the various
the people who had deposited the money in their account illegally.
Yeah, we don't know where this in the British Virgin Islands is going to lead to, whether or not the same may have occurred there, and what happens after the commission of inquiry is another matter. But it is so similar, even though it may not be on the scale of what occurred or what is alleged to have occurred in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The whole concept and the fact that there is corruption there, to me, would be serious grounds enough for
suspension of their constitution.
Exactly, especially when you have allegations being made against the premier, who's also the minister of finance, as well. Now, here's another thing that we want to look at, Doc, and if you can find it on there, how important the civil service is, and the system that we have in place here, where our civil service still falls under the governor, even though that responsibility has been delegated to the deputy governor in the Cayman Islands. So the civil service has no allegiance whatsoever to the elected ministers. When the ministers go, the civil servants should still stay there. They're part of it.
They're still
as
there.
Opposed to ministers coming in and bringing their own chief officers and things of that nature. So here's what the Auditor General now encountered in the British Virgin Islands when she was seeking to get information. And this one is entitled Ministers Being Protected. Auditor General tells Commission of Inquiry of resistance from public officers. And she goes on to point out that there needs to be some penalty for public officers who fail to comply with requests for information from her office. She goes, during her testimony on the 28th of June, she told the Commission of Inquiry that public officers who do not provide information when requested may do so as an attempt to protect government ministers as they feel more comfortable of offending the Auditor General than a minister of government. She was asked about her observations in her 2014, 2015, and 2016 reports, where she pointed to encountering resistance, which she indicated spans more than one administration. She's quoted as saying, "It has been a trend. I say of late, it hasn't always been this way, but over the past 10 years coming forward, where ministers and departments, but mostly ministries, are resisting providing information that is required for audit." She cited a recent case where a minister did not provide information and then tried to use the fact that they did not provide the information to delay the issuance of a report. She's quoted as saying, "I find this completely unsatisfactory, and I do intend to make a report to the governor with respect of that particular case." She said she will also report the matter to the Financial Secretary and the Public Service Commission. She's quoted as saying it was a blatant attempt at manipulating the entire process. Have to take a commercial break, folks. When we return, For the Record will continue, so please stay tuned.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to my Grass grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Inaja Productions, in association with Cash Wiz K-Man, presents Cash Wiz K-Man Kids Got Talent Show at the Line Center on Saturday, July 17. Start the summer right and come out. Support and cheer on our kids as they show off their God-given talent. Showtime 5 p.m. Tickets are available at Cash Wiz K-Man and at the gate. Admission only $15. Part proceeds go to Feed Our Future. So join us on July 17 and experience an evening of talents. Special guest performances by recording artist Rico Rolando. I still love you. Steel Pan solo act Ruby Pelita and CKGT 2018 winner magician Joshua Cowell. K-Man Kids Got Talent is sponsored by Cashways, CUC, Health City, Ministry of Financial Services and Commerce, People's Choice Groceries, LED Lighting Engineering and Design, KPMG, Seaport Marine, Butterfield Bank, the #1 shoe shop, K-Cool Ice Cream, CL Construction, Cellular World, Radio K-Man, Breeze FM and Inaja Productions.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. We've been sharing with you and we will continue to share with you some excerpts from a commission of inquiry that has taken place in the British Virgin Islands, reported by BVI Platinum News. And the reason for this is while we here in the Cayman Islands may complain about our elected officials, we may complain about the activities of cabinet, what we're wanting to demonstrate to you, that while we may not have a perfect system here in the Cayman Islands, we do have a lot of guardrails and protections in place to prevent abuse by politicians as well as public officers. Like I said, it may not be perfect. We have to continue to work on that. We have to continue to be vigilant, but it is always good to learn from what is happening in other jurisdictions, and we're not gloating over the fact that what has happened in the Turks and Caicos or what may possibly happen in the British Virgin Islands. We want to take those and use them as learning experiences for us here in the Cayman Islands. Doc, over to you.
And of course, when you finished on the excerpts, the general was asked by the counsel for the commission what she believed was the reason for the manipulation of the entire process. And she says, counsel for the commission asked whether she was able to point to reasons for the resistance from the public officers. And she said the public servants are concerned about offending their ministers, and in a number of cases, it's individuals who are afraid to offend either the permanent secretary or ministers, but ultimately, it is the ministers that they are trying to protect or cover. Other times, it seems that the instructions actually come down. I know of a couple of cases where the instructions come from the ministers to not provide the information Webster stated. According to Webster, this occurred, but not within the last 5 years. And then the council asked Webster about what can be done about the resistance from public officers. And Webster stated that the Audit Act needs to be amended, and a copy of the act was sent to the former Attorney General, and discussions were held with staff of the Attorney General's office about the amendments. And she said the act needs to be amended, and there needs to be some sort of penalty, for want of a better word, for people not complying. Whether there is a surcharge, some sort of disciplinary letter, whether it's more than that, suspension, but there needs to be some sort of penalty when the permanent secretary and the department heads fail to comply. It doesn't carry any weight. They can continue to do this, Webster pointed out. So in over there, there's such a their administration is such a shambles that all of these things can be done without scrutiny. In Cayman Islands, we have so many things in place that they would not get away with that. And as you said when we took the break, why wouldn't she make a report to the finance committee? That's what you said. Was not the finance committee what you said? To the public service,
public accounts committee.
To the public accounts committee, and perhaps over there the public accounts committee is the same people as some of the ministers, and probably she didn't feel that it was necessary, and that she wouldn't get anywhere by going to the public accounts committee. Here we have a robust public accounts committee that are always on top of things, and those things that happen in the
and usually chaired by the opposition.
By the opposition, yes, usually chaired by the opposition, and those things, in my humble opinion, I don't think would happen here in Cayman, that they happen in Turks and Caicos Island, because we have so many checks and balances in place that would not be possible to happen, because our accounts committee, who is chaired by the opposition, would jump on that immediately.
Okay. Now, what I've done is I've accessed the British Virgin Islands Constitution and the what it speaks to in relation to the Auditor General. But before we do that, we do have a caller, so we're going to go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Dr. Steve. It's good to speak to you again. This is Billy Simamba here.
Good morning, Mr. Billy Commander. How are you, my friend?
Yes, well, it's very, very interesting and very important. I think that you're covering the topic of what is happening in the BVI. Actually, I myself had gone to BVI News Platinum about 2 days ago to check on a few things, and I found some of the stories that you're discussing here. I mean, you might know, I used to be in the British Virgin Islands way back, late 90s, early 2000, for about 4 years. So, I do have a little bit of a personal connection to the stories. In fact, Sherwin Foy, by the way, that name not Sherwin Foy, Andrew Foy, that name is actually pronounced Foy rather than Fahy, I was...
Okay, yeah, I always pronounce it Fahy too, yes.
No, if you go to the British Virgin Islands, actually it is probably one of the most common names, and it is pronounced Foy, I don't know how that happens, but that's the way it is.
Okay.
So, okay, now it's, you see, in the Cayman Islands, we should look, and it's good that you're looking at this. Remember, there was a time at the Public Accounts Committee, which, as Dr. Steve just said, it is a very robust committee, but a few things do fall through the cracks. Look at, for example, the Attorney General. He was questioned one time at PAC. They said, "How come you're giving legal work of substantial amounts of money to lawyers without going through tender procedures?" And the answer at that time, I remember it well. Actually, it was not even the AG personally who answered. It was Reshma Sharma, who was the Solicitor General, who is Solicitor General. She said, well, the reason is because these are the people we have always worked with, and we would like to continue our working relationships. Now, that is nonsense, okay? Because if everybody is going to say, well, we keep getting our supplies from this company without tender procedures because they are the people we trust. We keep getting our transportation services from this company because they are the people we trust. Then what is the job of the tender procedures? And yet nothing happened, and that's the point, the reason I'm raising that. There was nothing like a motion of censure to the Attorney General to say you can't do this. Some special circular sent out to say, look, you can't second guess the tender regulations. And these are things that we need to do in order to, as it were, iron out the creases, the little problems that exist. When I gave the privilege of giving my talk at the Borden Symposium, I pointed out a few things such as change of legal advice from the Attorney General. There was change of legal advice for TILEPs, for tempura, all those things. There are reasons why that legal advice is changed. You don't normally change legal advice. Changing legal advice is a very, 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 very big thing, and yet somehow we seem to gloss over that. Last point. You remember that Canova Watson went to jail for a long period of time for what happened with the care pay scheme.
Yes.
Yeah. When you look at that, do you think that he was the only person who should have been prosecuted?
Well, the judge in that trial made some comments about other people, why they were not before the courts. Hello?
Billy, you're there? We started to lose you.
So sorry, I think I'm getting made.
Yeah, we keep hearing a beeping sound from your phone.
A beeping sound?
Yes,
Okay, do you still have it now?
Yes.
Okay, because I've switched off my internet and everything, I'm not quite sure, and I'm not hearing the beeping sound.
Okay, it's much better now. And we're not hearing it now.
Much better. Okay,
yes.
Very well. Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
About you were just reminding me, Dr. Steve, that the judge made some comments.
Yes. About why other people were not before the courts.
Do you see? Why did that just seem to go even after the judge made the comments? I think we knew it as people, who follow these matters, that he couldn't have done it on his own. Even I'm just finishing anyway. Thanks very, very much and so on. But I think there is need for there to be consequences once things like that happen. There's too much arrogance. When a judge, for example, says that, I think they should have prosecuted some. It looks like selective prosecution of people just to punish those who are either weak or those who are. I'll continue to listen. It's a very, very important.
Thank you very much, Billy, for that. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day. Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve McFeel. I want to thank Billy for calling in as well. So the British Virgin Islands Constitution, and I believe that they were somewhere in the process of seeking amendments to their constitution again as well. I have to check on that. But anyway, Section 109 of their constitution addresses the office, or speaks to the office of the Auditor General. And what it reads is, this is the British Virgin Islands Constitution now, folks. It reads that there shall be an Auditor General whose office shall be a public office. The accounts of the House of Assembly, that is their legislature, right? And all government departments and offices, including the Public Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, and such other body as may be designated by law, shall be audited and reported on annually by the Auditor General. And for that purpose, the Auditor General or any person authorized by him or her shall have access to all books, records, returns, and other documents relating to such accounts. And I'm going to come back to that particular subsection afterwards in relation to what she said, the Auditor General in the British Virgin Islands said in relation to her inability to get certain documents. Goes on to say, subsection 3 says the Auditor General shall submit his or her report made under subsection 2 to the Minister. Bear in mind, this is to the Minister, who shall, within 3 months of receipt of the reports, cause them to be laid before the House of Assembly. And subsection 4 says that in the exercise of his or her functions under this section, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. So, Doc, it would appear to me is that she really is not taken advantage of subsection 109, of section 109 of the Constitution in relation to her powers, and why she should have to report it to the governor, why she should have to report it to the Public Service Commission or anyone is beyond me. These persons, to me, would be in breach of the Constitution, because it says there that she should have access to all records.
Yeah, we have
all books, records, returns, and other documents relating to the to accounts, to such accounts.
We have a similar section in our Constitution too about our Auditor General. Section 114 of our Constitution, Section 114, subsection 3 says the Auditor General shall have the power and responsibility to audit the public accounts of the Cayman Islands and the accounts and financial dealings of all authorities, offices, and departments of government, and of all courts, and the power to undertake value for money investigation in respect of the activities of such authorities, offices, and and departments. But the difference with the Turks and Caicos Island with us is that the functions of the Auditor General and the accountability of the posts and the Auditor Office shall be further prescribed by law. And it says, in the exercise of his or her functions, the Auditor General and any person acting on his or her behalf in the exercise of those functions shall not be subject to the directions or control of any other persons or authority, save that the Auditor General is answerable to the Public Accounts Committee of the Legislative Assembly and must attend upon the committees as its requests. So the only person that the Auditor General has to bend to, has to go to, is the Public Accounts Committee. In fact, the Auditor General here is a creature of statute, just like in the British Virgin Islands. But the Auditor General here is accountable to the Legislative Assembly and not to a minister. Not to the executive. They were accounted to the political arm of government and not to the executive.
Okay. Just to remind persons that we're talking about the Turks and Caicos Islands, we're talking about the British Virgin Islands, in particular British Virgin Islands, and a commission of inquiry that is now taking place in relation to financial irregularities in the British Virgin Islands, including the loss of $7 million for the startup of British Virgin Islands Airways, the COVID-19 grants to farmers and fishermen during the pandemic, the failure of members of their assembly to submit to the register of interest. And here's what their constitution talks about in relation to registration of interest, starting with section 112. There shall be for the Virgin Islands a register of interest, which shall be maintained by a registrar who shall be appointed and may be removed from office by the governor acting in his or her discretion. It shall be the duty of any person to whom this section applies to declare to the registrar for entry in the register of interests such interests, assets, income, and liabilities of that person or of any other person connected with him or her as may be prescribed by law. A person shall make a declaration under subsection 2 upon assuming the functions of his or her office, and at such intervals thereafter being no longer than 12 months as may be prescribed by law. This section applies to all members of the House of Assembly, including ministers and the holders of such other offices except that of governor as may be prescribed by law. A law made under this Constitution shall make provisions for giving effect to this section, including the sanctions which may be imposed for a failure to comply with or the making of false statements in purported compliance with subsection 2 and 3, and notwithstanding anything contained in Chapter 5, the sanctions which may be imposed may include the suspension of a member of the House of Assembly from sitting and voting in the House for such periods as may be prescribed in such a law. Now, we know that there was failure for members of their House of Assembly to submit these register of interest.
Yes.
That they failed to do so, and many of them acknowledged that as well. What we're going to do, we're going to see if we can find some articles on that. Now, meanwhile, we still have a little bit of time. I know some members of our listening audience may have expressed a view, since we mentioned the grants to farmers here in Cayman, why aren't we following up on that? Because the claim is that the very few abuses, that there were very few abuses that were found in relation to that, and why isn't that being highlighted? Well, we haven't heard, from the ministry
yes.
or the department in relation
to any facts surrounding those allegations.
Exactly, and or when it will resume and what when it resumes, what it will look like, as well, whether or not it becomes necessary. But at the same time, again, we want to make the comparisons. We have our grants here to persons in the tourism sector who are not, some are not employed, some may be employed in other sectors. I have heard anecdotal claims of persons receiving the stipend but are still working, and whether or not that is factored into whatever they receive. But I believe that the system that we have in place here is as transparent, as it can possibly be. And I have not heard any civil servant complain, either surreptitiously or otherwise, about being pressured, being forced to ensure that one person got it over another individual or whatever. And those are the things that are important for us here in the Cayman Islands. And again, folks, what we're trying to show you is what shouldn't be done here, what we shouldn't allow to happen here, what isn't being done here, and the guardrails and the checks and balances that we have in place here to prevent that from happening. Despite our little shortfalls that we do have a system that holds people to
accountable
as well.
We do. We have a system that actually holds people accountable, and we know that is true because we that is demonstrated every 4 years at the polls.
Exactly. Top of the hour headline news, 9 o'clock, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 427 COVID-19 tests on Tuesday. All came back negative. So far, more than 93,000 vaccines have been administered locally. Dozens of people have died in Canada amid an unprecedented heat wave that has smashed temperature records. Police in Vancouver have responded to more than 130 sudden deaths since Friday. Most were elderly or had underlying health conditions, with heat often a contributing factor. Canada broke its temperature record for a third straight day on Tuesday in British Columbia. The northeast U.S. has also seen record highs and a number of fatalities. And the U.S. military could complete its withdrawal from Afghanistan within days, according to reports, amid increasing Taliban battlefield gains. U.S. officials told Reuters that some U.S. forces were expected to stay to protect the U.S. Embassy in Kabul airport. The reports came as a top U.S. commander warned the country risks sliding into civil war as the last U.S. troops leave. Those are your latest headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. We are discussing, governance in the overseas territories and financial accountability in overseas territories, Turks and Caicos, British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands. We haven't touched on Bermuda yet because Bermuda isn't featured in this
round of articles.
Particular one. But I see here where the premier, I forget how Billy says that it is pronounced. It's spelled F-A-H-I-E. And we would normally pronounce it Fahi, but I think it's something else. But he has issued a statement because he's the premier and the minister of finance, and he's reported to have said that his administration can provide a full account of the over $16 million that it dispersed via various stimulus grants during ongoing COVID-19 pandemic for relief purposes. He says, I give you, the public of the Virgin Islands, the full assurance that all funds, and when I say all, I mean all funds for stimulus grants given out to the public can be fully accounted for and is already fully accounted for. All I can say at this time is that time will reveal the truth, he said on a talk show program. He says at the same time, the Premier said while his administration respects the work of the Audit Department and the Auditor General's Office because it is a crucial component for good governance, what was presented to the public was not the full picture of the stimulus grants. He goes on to say that audits represent a snapshot picture of a given point in time. Therefore, at a different point in time, the picture can change as the available information changes. The validity and accuracy of an audit report also depends on the data that was analyzed to come to the findings and conclusions. If the information is incomplete, then it will not show the whole picture. So, if all the data was not analyzed or all of the data was not published to available to be analyzed in terms of availability, then the conclusion is that the report has to be approached with caution because the analysis was not based on the data. Talk about, talking in circles. Yes. He then proceeded to provide what he termed as highlights of the COVID-19 stimulus program. He said that 1,226 small and micro businesses received economic stimulus grants between $1,591 and $7,954. And he goes on to give all of these figures and stuff like that. He added that 81 churches received grants between $7,000 and $26,423 churches. What about separation of church and state? And what he said about that, these organizations contribute to society by providing spiritual support, counseling services, and charity to needy persons. And in this regard, supporting these organizations were considered based on a social support function. The total sums of money expended in the 4 economic stimulus programs managed by the Premier's office was $16,187,486, and the records that are there to show where these payments were made and who got them. Well, if he's saying all of this, why didn't he present all of this to the Auditor General when her office asked for it?
Yes. That is a lot of double speak, and that is one reasons why the inquiry was called for and was needed to be able to get that information out to the public.
Yep, and the article goes on to say that the Fahy administration was accused of significantly inflating the payments so that they exceeded the amounts individuals actually applied for under the Farmers and Fisherfolk Grant, according to the Auditor General in her testimony. And she told, like we said earlier, she told the Commission of Inquiry that the Premier's office deliberately blocked her accessing information on the stimulus spending. So he's come out now and made a statement that and reveal that churches and other organizations, again, this is why, Doc, it is so important, for you to have systems set up, established to process these applications, independent of politicians. It is so important to ensure that happens.
Yes, and in the British Virgin Islands, one of the things that one of the criteria for obtaining the grant was that you had to file an affidavit and some of the affidavits that people filed were not correct. They were completely false. Because some of the affidavits, one of the criteria for receiving a grant was that you had to be a commercial farmer for at least 3 years before to obtain the grant. And people were saying that they were commercial farmers, and they only had a backyard grow box. Growing a few tomatoes and so forth, and they were not actual farmers.
But at the same time, the government was trying to also encourage people to get involved in backyard farming. As well.
Our government, our government is trying to get people involved in backyard farming. But our government was smarter than the people in Perth and Case Island, because our government did not actually give money to the farmers. Our government did not actually hand out large sums of money. They didn't give any money at all. They gave vouchers of the agricultural department so that you could get the necessary seeds and agricultural products that you needed to start farming or to continue farming, but not actually cash money.
Of course, that had its loopholes as well, because there was nothing preventing me. I don't believe that there was anything preventing me, if I was just a backyard farmer, getting other items that I may not need, and then turning around and selling them at a lower price
to somebody else,
to someone else, and profiting off it as well. So it, there were some loopholes there. Now, someone again shared an anecdotal situation, and that even with the tourism grants here in Cayman, that there may be some persons who are overseas and still getting those grants. Now, I want to look at how is that possible, and the person may be overseas, but because of the fact that they're not employed, as long as if they were Caymanian and they're overseas temporarily and intend to return to Cayman to resume the work once the work is there, should that prevent them from receiving the stimulus, the stipend from government, if that is the case, or is there something in place that says you have to be resident in the Cayman Islands?
Well, it seems to me that one of the reasons for the stipend would be that the money should be spent here and not overseas. But if you're overseas, for instance, and for economic reasons, because you couldn't be overseas for medical reasons or for some other reasons, but if you're overseas for instance for economic reasons, because it's easier, it's cheaper for you to, for instance, to be overseas than to be living here. I don't understand why the grant you should not receive the grant, and because there's a similar problem with the Seaman's grant. I think one minister, the Seaman's were getting the grant, and they were living in different places. I know a few people who were getting the grant, and they were living in Florida, where it's cheaper to live, it's cheaper to eat, and it's cheaper to live. And they were getting the grants. And the one minister who came into the ministry around that time, when the grants were started, when the whole idea of the grants took off, canceled the grants for those people who were living overseas, and say that unless they were living in Cayman Islands, show that they were living here permanently, that they were not able to get the grants. And some people who came to seek legal advice from me showed me information that which was easier for them to live overseas with the grant, because it was cheaper to live. An apartment was cheap, the rent was cheaper, food was cheaper, transportation was cheaper. And that's the reason why they went overseas to live.
So they changed, the minister changed the qualifications that you had to be on an island?
Had to be on an island, okay. and canceled their grants. And some people had a hard time coming back on the island to live because the grants alone, because some of them were retired and didn't have any other source of income. and that grant alone would not supplement their standard of living. Some of them were living below the poverty line with that grant, and I think that was so unfair.
Almost discriminatory to a certain extent.
That's right. That's right. So I don't know where that is right now, whether that still obtains or whether they can get the grant and you can go to a jurisdiction where the standard of living is much lower to live off it. But to me, it seems to me that if you're qualified for the grant, it doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter where you live should not be the deciding factor of whether you're going to get the grant or not. Once you're qualified the grant, they should give it to you. If you want to live in Timbuktu, that's your business.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Okay, and if you were to compare that to, say, receiving a pension, now the difference between a pension and a grant from government is the pension is something that you have earned.
That you have earned.
Yes.
A grant is something that is discretionary.
Yes.
This discretionary and
so
gratuitous.
They could attach any conditions, as long as they're reasonable, fair, and in our case, it should be constitutional as well.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. Remember our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. Don't wait until 10 minutes to 10 and call in. Opportunity to call in now. We'll take your calls. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to Macgrass Grocery Store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Rotary Central and you, our valued community, have undertaken remarkable accomplishments since October 1986. Over 34 years of activity and projects, making lives better and moving our beloved Cayman forward. Rotary Central has yet again committed to the advancement of these islands, this time in the area of mental health. We are proud to announce our partnership with Loud Silent Voices and donation of $50,000 to provide a community home for those recovering from various mental illnesses. Rotary Central and Loud Silent Voices, a signature project, taking care of the vulnerable, helping families manage, more than a shoulder, more than a helping hand, literally calming the storm. Rotary Central, care in every effort, sweat in every project, every dollar planted back in the community with your help. Rotary opens opportunities.
Attention all tourism stipend recipients. Have you completed the mandatory stipend survey? This survey is required for all recipients and must be completed by this Friday, 2nd July 2021. Visit stipend.ourcayman.ky today to complete the short survey. Remember, it is mandatory, so visit stipend.ourcayman.ky today. Any questions? Email the tourism stipend team at stipend@caymanislands.ky.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve Macfield. Doc, we heard that beeping on when Billy called in,
yes.
And one of our listeners seemed pretty suspicious about that beeping and whether or not if it wasn't something on Billy's end where, sometimes depending on what type of phone you have and if you're holding it to your ear, you may be pressing, another one of the keys. But some persons, may think that it may have been deliberate interference as well. But I have to find enough time to parse this out. Here we are bragging about, and this may be, at the end of the day, it may be a testament to what we're saying as well. Here we are bragging about Cayman and the checks and balances that we have in place to ensure that certain things don't happen. Well, maybe in some cases we have the checks and balances in place, but the checks and balances only discover things after they happen. So here is an article in the Caymanian Compass, and I was advised that this was probably going to be published today. Lately, the University College of the Cayman Islands has been in the news.
Yes.
And here's the headline. Police probe allegations of misappropriated funds at UCCI. Where have we heard that before?
Yes, where have we heard that before?
Oh,
yes. I think someone is serving time for appropriation of funds from UCCI.
So let me share this with our audience because they may not want to hear about BVI. They may not want to hear about Turks and Caicos. What about Cayman? It says the Police Financial Crimes Unit is investigating reports that a senior employee of the University College of the Cayman Islands misappropriated funds from the higher education facility. Concerns were flagged by UCCI financial controllers, sparking an internal investigation which led to the employee being terminated and the matter referred to the Auditor General and the police. School leaders confirmed this week. Cayman Compass is aware of the identity of the individual under investigation, but is not publishing their name for legal reasons, as no arrest has been made and no criminal charges have been brought at this point. A police spokesperson is quoted as saying, "I can confirm that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Services Financial Crimes Investigation Unit is conducting an investigation into a matter reported by the UCCI. Beverly Shuford, UCCI's Vice President of Finance, said, quote, possible irregularities by an employee, close quote, were discovered as a result of enhanced financial controls it had put in place. Going to come back to that fact that enhanced controls have been put in place. Following an internal investigation, UCCI notified the Financial Crimes Unit and the Office of the Auditor General of the alleged misappropriations by that employee, who was then terminated, she said in a statement in response to inquiries from the Compass on Monday. Subsequent to the commencement of the investigation, the now former employee has left the island. Shuford, who took up her post in March, added that UCCI officials were cooperating with auditors and law enforcement on the investigation and working closely with the Auditor General to complete the financial statements for the college for 2020. She said she was unable to give details of the alleged irregularities or of the amounts involved, saying the audit process and investigations are ongoing. UCCI, as a statutory authority which relies on public funds and donations, is subject to an annual audit. Auditor General Sue Winspear confirmed, quote, irregularities were found, unquote, during the audit of UCCI's 2020 financial statements, which took place in March and April of this year. The matter was referred to by the UCCI to the police, and the risk level of the audit was raised, sparking a more thorough investigation into all of the school's financial transactions. We are looking into the area. So they're all going around in circles, not saying, everyone's saying what the other has said. It's a long article. It goes on to talk about Dr. Hassan Syed and his particular case as well. So if you have access to the Caymanian Compass, you may want to read that article and familiarize yourself with it. I will continue to peruse the article as well, so to see if more is there. But it seems as if the system that was in place, designed
Yes.
to catch the fence after the horse has bolted the
barn. Yes.
Okay, we have two callers. Let's see how many we can take before we get to 9:30. Anyone that we were unable to accommodate at that time, we will take a commercial break and we will take your call afterwards. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello again.
Good morning again.
Listen to me. All that you're talking there, that must be your own copy of our daily. It could never be that, and a light is cast on that particular institution again so soon after. That can prove to be what we would call slander, and somebody should get sued for libel. It couldn't be nothing to that. It could not be nothing to that.
You think so?
That it could never be.
And you think it's an accident that the alleged perpetrator is no longer on island?
Is that familiar?
I can't go and leave you. I can't handle you sometimes. Bye.
Take care. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Moderator.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good morning to the doctor.
Good morning, Lord Graham.
Yeah. Okay. I know one thing. When Teacher Roy was there for those many years, you never had the opportunity to read a statement like that.
No.
And our conversation on the radio on Monday, conveniently, there was the person from the UCCI on another radio station, but refused to take outside calls. Refused. No calls. This will be quick. And made it known that they had a Caymanian there with them, student, I think, that, in my opinion, sounded that was very Hispanic. So they like to throw that out there that, they got this Cayman person with them, or you hire one Caymanian, but then you give you the authority to hire 10 outsiders, right? But why didn't she now wait for today and call in to your radio station, which Teacher Roy would have done?
Mm-hmm.
But the exiting of Teacher Roy, and another one that upsets me is the exit of Commissioner Buell.
Braggs, yes,
Yeah. I think our government or the people in control, like Teacher Roy, you should get with him and say, hey, we know you want to leave, but can we do something to encourage you to stay? You can we double your pay? Can we put you up on the 7 Mile Beach to live? Tell us what you want. We need you. You have turned around the school in such a way that parents are even happy. right? With your performance. They should have got with him and try and keep him, just like how they should have got with Commissioner Bright and offered him all the accolades that they offer and budget that they offered. The commissioner came in after him. He had money to buy all kinds of things. He even had enough money to import other outside officers who, as we know, never turned out to our best interest, right?
Who's it? Was it Kernahan that came after? Was it Kernahan or someone?
He was buying helicopters. He was doing all kinds of things, buying helicopters
and flying them too.
Yeah, and doing all kinds of things, right? But that's the kind of thing that we do. We happy. I guess they were happy that Teacher Roy was going. I'm not sure, but they should have sit with him and try and encourage him to stay, because as they could see, he was lining people up, Caymanians, to take positions, higher positions than what they were. And then you got this thing that threw it out there, like the person that was coming with taking over was capable. When you say capable, what that mean, Mr. McFeel and OC? They got a PhD, they got a management and degree in education management. Capable, you mean you got a piece of paper? We know what happened the last time when somebody came with a piece of paper. Now you want to watch and I didn't see that person. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? Are they capable of dealing with our children the way we know them? Or have they experience teaching children from our society, the type of children that we have here? We're not like the children that they came from. Teacher Roy automatically went there and turned around the school for the fact that he know OC, Dr. McFeel, me, hey, listen, your father wouldn't appreciate you dressing like that. Your father never dressed like that. You can't come to my school dressed like that. Well, they're the kind of things that he would say.
Well,
I know the man.
The difference, some of the differences is that Roy Bodden didn't have a degree in marketing. Roy Bodden had a degree in education. That's what his degree was. And the problem is that Roy was offered not to stay at the university, but to transfer and to transit someplace else. You remember when I don't know if you were at the ceremony when Roy was leaving, the then Minister of Education got up on the platform and says to him that he should take a month off and go and eat some turtle meat and drink a bottle of wine with his wife, because she was bringing him back the next month in her ministry.
Was that sound bites, or was that to get an applause from the audience?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. Perhaps she was genuine, but it was a genuine promise that she made, and or what? I don't think it was just a gesture. I think it was a genuine promise, but I think she ran into a roadblock someplace. She ran into a roadblock someplace because Roy never got anything in writing. I don't think he was even asked to come for an interview, and Roy went home and did what she said, believing that he would be back to work in January in a different position in the Ministry of Education or whatever they were going to put him. Roy still hasn't heard anything from that. That's been over 3 years now.
Well, I hope he didn't drink wine each day.
No,
or eat turtle meat every week. Otherwise, Lord Graham, we have to take a commercial break. Thank you very much. We have a few more people on hold, but please feel free to call back. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
We are now in the hurricane season, and to survive a hurricane, you need to be informed. If you have been informed by official sources that a hurricane is approaching the Cayman Islands, and you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding or near the beaches, which may be swept by high tides or storm waves, please seek a safe place and high ground. If the only way for you to get to a safe place is a road that is also likely to be flooded during a storm, please leave home early. Don't run the risk of being stranded. This has been a public service announcement from your community station, Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Doc, we still have one caller on hold, so we're going to grab that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator, and good morning to Doc.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How timely.
I'm listening with interest to your station. I always listen to your station, and like Dr. McField says, when you're not on, I'm out of place. I want to climb the walls because there is nothing else to do, and nothing could substitute of listening to you. Keep up the good work, my dear friend.
Thank you.
You
Thank
are
you.
An excellent source of knowledge and learning in this community. I want to comment on the statement. I noticed that in the statement they said Dr. McAfee put in enhanced provisions when she came to the Universal College, implying that there were not checks and balances before. Nothing, Mr. Moderator, could be further from the truth. The proof of the pudding is this. In my last 2 years at the Universal College was one of those government departments who were singled out by the Auditor General. We got special awards, and the Auditor General herself, Ms. Winspear, went on record. She came to the Universal College and said it, and I believe she may have said it in the Legislative Assembly, that UCCI was a well-run organization.
Okay, good point.
That being the case, there could not have been any weaknesses in the financial structure and administration. Otherwise, it would have been pointed out by the Auditor General, and UCCI would have not gotten those awards 2 years in a row in my last 2 years as president. Furthermore, I can say without fear of successful contribution that I had the finest CFO that I could have had in Ansel Hempro. I wonder if Dr. McAfee is not using this as a red herring to get away from her having to explain and account to the Cayman Islands why she refused the symposium to be held at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall, depriving generations of Caymanian students of the ability and the opportunity to listen and to hear issues which will affect them and indeed affects them now. And I want to go on record as saying all is not well at UCCI. Scratch the facade, Cayman, and you will find out. For I raise again the matter of the departure of the registrar, Alison Anglin, a qualified Caymanian, and now it is my understanding that her associate deputy registrar is also leaving under pressure. And in every instance, this woman has brought people from outside. I am telling you, Mr. Moderator, as Shakespeare said, something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Well,
don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. The proof of the pudding. Here is what I would like you to do.
Sure.
I invite you to FOI my exit report upon my departure as president of the University College. Right? FOI my exit report. Also, FOI the correspondence between Dr. McAfee and the committee who put together this symposium, and therein lies the truth. I want to say this on radio too. She even objected to my being named President Emeritus.
Wow.
Now, you might not find that in the record because it was a matter that she expressed privately to some persons. She is most ill-informed and she does not know the Cayman Islands. My record in public service, both as a civil servant and as a member of the Legislative Assembly, now Parliament, and minister, is unimpeachable and irreproachable. I took it as an honor to serve my people, and I did it to the best of my ability, operating on my integrity. And anybody who knows my dear departed mother knows that the principles which were instilled in me by her are not principles which would have caused disgrace and ill repute to our family name, and to dishonor and steal from the people of the Cayman Islands, whom I hold such high regard for. But the truth will come out, and I vow I will not let this matter rest until she's exposed, because she should not be the president of UCCI.
Well, Mr. Borden? Mr. Borden?
I have no interest. I am gainfully occupied. Right now, if you come, you will find me on my farm among the cattle.
Yes.
Mr. Borden?
Yes, sir.
I was very disappointed when this truth was revealed to me, because when I asked why the symposium was not being held at the University College, I was told that it was being sponsored by the National Cultural Foundation, and that's the reason why it was being held at the Hartwell Theatre. I was never told that the background of the whole thing, that all of that thing was suppressed from my knowledge, and I am now very disappointed to have heard the truth about it, because that was what they told me. That the reason why it was being held there, not because she had refused to allow it to be held at the Sir Russell Johnson Hall, but because it was a National Cultural Foundation event, and that's the reason why they were being held at the Hartwell.
Okay, we want to thank Mr. Borden very much for that.
Yes.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, Doc. One of our listeners shared with me earlier this morning. Says, according to a report this morning on BBC4, Cayman is number 4 on the top 5 of countries close to 100% vaccinated the countries that are 100% vaccinated. Gibraltar is 115%, considering 16,000 persons cross the border each day to work from next door, Spain. All have been vaccinated to have access to gainful occupation there. So they all have to be vaccinated. So we're getting up there. We're getting up there. But what they have raised on this is the whole issue of the fact that they pointed out there that in Gibraltar, if you on a work permit, you have to be
over to the continent to
no, they come from Spain to Gibraltar to work. They cross the border.
They cross the border from Spain into Gibraltar to work. They have to be vaccinated.
Yeah, they all have. Now the question, we know here in the Cayman Islands that what the government has said is that they're going to require work permit holders on renewal as well as grants to have proof of vaccination, verifiable proof of vaccination, and if that's not the case, then they would not be granted work permit. Some persons have questioned the constitutionality of that and whether or not we're maybe discriminating.
No, not really. Not really. Under Section 16, we're not discriminating. Section 16 says that we can make any law in relation to, with respect to the entry into or exclusion from, or the employment, engagement in any business or profession, movement or residence within the Cayman Islands of persons who are not Caymanians, and it's not discriminatory under the Bill of Rights. Yeah.
And is it being done for public health purposes?
Yes,
also
if it's reasonable and reasonable and it's for public health and for and in the interest, but it doesn't have to go that far. Mm-hmm. It's enshrined. It's already enshrined in Section 16 of our Constitution, and it says that the discrimination section in Section 16(1) does not apply to any in respect to the entry into or exclusion from, or the employment, engagement in any business or profession, movement or residence within the Cayman Islands of persons who are not Caymanians. Okay. Huh? So it's very clear. Yes. It's very clear. You don't have to go to the other provisions to justify it for public health or whatever.
Got you.
Even if there was no COVID, we could still have conditions on how you enter here.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience, and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Radio Cayman, your #1 community station, would like to remind you that we are in the hurricane season, and in order to survive a hurricane, you need to be prepared. If officials' sources say a hurricane is imminent, please board up or shutter up windows in your home or place of business. Remember to use good lumber, as makeshift boarding may actually cause more damage. Also put strong bracing on outside doors so that they are not blown off or blown in.
This hurricane advice was brought to you by Radio Cayman, your caring community radio station.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I believe we have a caller still on hold, Miss Susan. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, morning.
And good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Frank.
You're not yet tired yet?
No, I'm no. It's Kirk Tibbetts told me the other day that I am indestructible, and my energy goes on forever.
I can't even say 43 years or 44 years, but you say the same thing about what, 55 or what, about 60.
Yeah, it's Dr. Frank. If I start now, all of the gains that we made will go to north, and the future would be dim. I have to continue this until the end.
Yeah, Doc, are you there? Susan, Miss Susan, we hope Doc will call back. For some reason, he dropped off there. Doc, you anything more you want to talk about Section 16 in relation to this whole need to be vaccinated?
No, there are these people going around talking about this people from this jurisdiction or that jurisdiction, or that we're singling them out and stuff. We're not singling out people. We have a right. We have sovereignty over the people who enter our jurisdiction. That's one thing that the Constitution gives us, and that is something that is written in the Bill of Rights. And I will keep repeating it. It says that the discrimination section of Section 16 does not apply with respect to the entry into or exclusion from, or the employment or the engagement in any business or profession, movement or residence within the Cayman Islands of persons who are not Caymanians. So persons who are not Caymanians, right, we have the right to exclude them. We have the right for to say how they should be employed and the conditions of their employment here, and engagement, how they can engage in business, and the conditions in which they should be in business or profession, or the movement when they come into the country, where they should live or where they should not live, and so forth. A person who are not Caymanians, you know, some of us really do not understand how the immigration system works, and the control of immigration by people in other jurisdictions. When you have a visa and you go to America, to the port of entry, there's no guarantee that because you have a visa they're going to let you in. They have complete control over your entry. They might look at you and say they don't like the way the shirt you're wearing that day, and don't let you in. And so these people who are going around spreading all these rumors about what we're doing here, about asking people to be vaccinated and to have all the and to impose all the conditions of entry, do not actually understand the Constitution. We don't have to go to anything, any other laws about health and all of those things about a health issue. It's here. We can impose any conditions of entry as long as the conditions are reasonable and proportional. And in a democratic,
I was going to ask you that.
In a democratic, democratic society.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what about the fact that it needs to be reasonable, proportional, proportionate, and
in a democratic society, we can do that. But to say that we single out Jamaicans or Honduranians or something, that has nothing to do with it, really.
Because it applies to everyone.
It applies to everyone,
except for Caymanians who don't require a work permit.
Yes.
Okay, that is good on that end. Ms. Susan, has the caller rejoined us? No, we hope that he gets an opportunity to call back.
Yes, before the end of the day.
I'm just looking at news release here. This is actually from the Gleaner, but the U.S. Supreme Court is surprising a lot of persons, legal scholars, and those who follow it in terms of the decisions that they made, because they saw it as a right-leaning court, a more conservative court because of the balance. But I see here where the Center for Disease Control, the eviction moratorium that have been put in place in terms of COVID-19 and persons who may be in arrears as far as their rent is concerned, or even possibly their mortgages, to not be evicted. And the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed that to stand. So one of the conservative, because it was a 5-4 decision,
yes,
and it means that one of on the conservative side has gone over to the other side, or at least one or two. Well, there's one who's sort of like in the middle of the road, but that's interesting because everyone thought that, with all of the Republican nominees on there, that they saw it as an imbalance in the court. But it goes to show you, that in a more modern and progressive United States, that even though justices may have their political leanings and everything else, that they're really looking more at the law rather than at their political convictions.
That's right, and the jurisprudence now has shifted.
Yes,
has shifted to people. It's a people jurisprudence. It's not connected to where the judge came from.
Or who appointed him?
Who educated him, and where his social and ancestral background. What is the social ancestral background? The decisions that are based on the reality of the society in which they live today, and that is why I keep saying on this program and elsewhere, constitutions are living trees. They put out new branches. Old branches are cut off and pruned, and new branches are cut off. Lord Sanka said that many generations ago. The Constitution is like a living tree. It has to express itself according to the times in which we are interpreting it. And that is what the United States Supreme Court now seems to be doing.
Yep. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about for 5 minutes, Doc? Anything in particular that you want to talk about? I know of course, we're going to soon be celebrating Constitution Day in Cayman.
Oh yes,
well.
Next Monday. Is it next Monday?
Yes.
I think next Monday is Constitutional Day.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll be. Is this next Monday or the Monday?
Yes, it's next Monday.
Monday.
This coming Monday. Yeah.
This coming Monday.
Yeah.
So what is today's the 29th?
Today's the 30th.
30th.
Yeah, today's the end of the month. Yeah.
Tomorrow is the 1st.
1st of July. Yeah.
1st of July. Okay. That is a.
Okay, we do have a caller.
Okay, thank you.
Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Dr. Maxfield.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you all?
Fine, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit disturbed over what I've been hearing on your show this morning. And then last night I was reading something about some attorney practicing here being suspended 6 months. I mean, what is Cayman coming to? What is the world coming to? My goodness.
Well, that the attorney that has been suspending is not the first time that someone has been suspended here. Years ago, another attorney was suspended for 9 months by Sir John Summerfield, Chief Justice Sir John Summerfield.
But why does it take so long for that to come to light?
Well, we don't know. We don't know the background of why it took so long, but we know that it did come to light, and the Chief Justice has dealt with it. And as far as what I know, it didn't surprise me.
Do you have any concerns about the fact that some of the proceedings were not held in public, and whether or not it is in the public interest to know who that individual is? Because if it is, suppose some other client wanted, were to go to that particular attorney not knowing what may have occurred. Now, it seems as if one of the reasons why they didn't want to name the individual was the possibility of hurting the person's practice as well as in profession. But how do you balance that against the public's right to know so that they don't fall into a similar trap, by going to that individual?
Yeah, and in Jamaica, if you notice, this year alone, several attorneys were disciplined in Jamaica and were not allowed to practice, and that was those hearings were held in public.
Yeah.
And so we know who those attorneys are, but in Cayman it was held in camera, and so there are a lot of speculations. There are a lot of speculations of who the attorney is and so forth. But I guess people who understands the practice in the Cayman Islands and who understands would know who the attorney is. And but so all the paper can do is to speculate who they.
Well, they said they actually know, but they're not. They wouldn't raise it because of the yeah. Caller, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
I was saying that even in the United States, I mean, Giuliani just got suspended for a year or indefinitely.
For 6 months.
6 months, whatever.
Yes.
But I also was very disturbed by hearing the report about the UCCI.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to, when I got in the car, I managed to hear Dr. Roy Borden's final thing that he said with regards to his mother implanting in him that discipline and you know, how can my parents did the same thing for me and my siblings. I mean, how can you bring this repute to your family by concealing or stealing money? It's just beyond comprehension for my. I mean, I can't understand it. I mean, you know, people used to say to me, well, if I go to jail, it'll be for $1 million. I don't even want to go to jail for $1 million. You know, it's just unbelievable the things that are happening. And so many things are happening in our little country. I was also reading where all these people were complaining about the 5-day
quarantine period.
Quarantine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how, like Dr. Marfield said, we have, in that section 16 of the Constitution, it is our, not so much duty, but we can do what the Constitution says, that's all.
Yes, it's a law. It's our law. It's the highest law of the land. So why are people, why are people complaining? I don't know. And, you know, the point you just made about your family background and so forth, I can't even contemplate. For me, I don't even. I'm still charging people the same amount I charged when I started practicing law over 40 years ago. And somebody I had a client the other day. Who, when I sent them a fee note for what the work I had done, she sent it back and said, "Mr. McPhail, it is too cheap. It is. Other lawyers that I dealt with charged me 3 times as much. You should raise your bill because I think I'm taking advantage of you." That's the way we were brought up. But that doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't continue anymore. Mostly in Caymanian among some people, greed now, and the thing is that we were brought up in where our integrity was worth more than a house and a car and some money in the bank and so forth. That's what made us. That's what made the Caymanian what it is, and that's why people came here in the first place. Mm-hmm. Mr. Tibbetts.
Mr. Tibbetts, I want to thank you very much for that. Sorry, I have to cut you off, but we've reached the 10 o'clock hour. There's a question I wanted to ask you. As a matter of fact, Ms. Susan, I'm going to beg you for 1 minute. We were talking earlier about the Siemens grant. How is the situation now if I'm receiving that grant, but I am living overseas? Am I still eligible to continue to receive it?
No, sir, you're not. The law stipulates that.
Even though
you have to live in this country for 8 months out of the year.
Okay.
That's the law. So if you live overseas, even for 2 weeks or 2 months,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter. But if you live overseas sort of indefinitely, then you no longer can be granted.
Got you. Thank you very much for that clarification. I'm sure that's helpful to our listeners as well, folks. I want to thank you, Doc. I want to thank you as well for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension for the record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dweeny Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Join us on Friday when we will have members from the Constitutional Commission in the studio with us talking about our Constitution and the upcoming Constitution Day as well. And as usual, and of course, for the record, well, we'll be back on Wednesday, but I'll tell you that on Friday as well. So, as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's